All right, I'm on Dynasty League Baseball right now, taking a break from Payoff Pitch. I got to play all my other games as well. I don't know how I'm going to get them all in, but I'm going to try. I just created a 1967 season, and we're going to play the Boston Red Sox 67 season, where they won it by a game over the Twins and the Tigers, with the White Sox and Angels not far behind. It was a pretty, everyone knows about the 67 race in the American League. I thought it would be fun. You got Yaz, you got Jim Lomborg had a big year. Yaz, of course, with the great year, the Triple Crown year. 326 average, 44 homers, 121 ribbies. And Jim Lomborg was 22 and 9, so he had a big year. Looking at their bullpen, they had three guys with a under 3 ERAs. So the bullpen looks okay, should be fun. They were, what was their final record? They were 92 and 70, looks like. And they held off the Twins and the Tigers, who were 91 and 71. And who else had a good year? George Scott batted 303 with 19 homers and 82 ribbies. So should be a fun season. Let's just jump into opening day. Here we go. Obviously, we're talking 67, so we just got the league. And versus Chicago, which is pretty cool. That's one of their. Chicago had really good pitching. Not a great offense, but really good pitching, and they just slumped at the end and fell off. But this is going to be a two-game series, so this should be interesting. But the White Sox got some really good pitching years from guys like Horlin, and they had Wilhelm in the bullpen. So I'm actually doing a White Sox 64 in Strat. Let me just bring up the White Sox for a second since we're going to play them. Let me see what their bullpen was, because I got 64 on my mind. Who was their closer? Was it Wilhelm in 67 still? Let me just take a quick look at their roster. They didn't have great offense, that's for sure. 18 homers by Pete Ward. Looks like it led them in 67. And they didn't have anyone with big RBI totals either. They just did not score a ton of runs, this team. But they did go 89 and 73 because of their pitching. Wilhelm was still in the pen. He saved 12 games, but they also had Bob Locker saved 20. But they had some pitching. Gary Peters had a 2.28 ERA. Horlin had a 2.06. John had a 2.47. Bruce Howard had a 3.43. I mean, their rotation was good, and then their bullpen. Locker had a 2.09 ERA. Wood a 2.45. McMahon a 1.67. Wilhelm a 1.31. They even had Buzzard 3.96, and even have some other guys. They had Jim O'Toole that year, 2.82 in 10 starts in 15 games. I mean, they just had pitching all over the place. They just didn't hit a lot. So let's see what happens here on this opening day game. Red Sox and the White Sox. The Battle of the Sox. And we're going to enter Fenway Park. 32 degrees here on April 12th. Winds at 17 out at Fenway with 32-degree temps, which is going to affect, is it fielding gets affected when it's in the 30s? I think the fielders get affected. Yep. All players will have their error ratings lowered by 30 because of the weather. So that's going to be a potential problem. This is just our roster. We'll okay this. For now, we're not going to play around with this. And we're doing as played, so we don't have to worry about picking. We got Lomborg. Okay, and we have John Buzzard. Yeah, he was one of the guys. I mean, he's not one of their top guys even starting here at the beginning of the season. Let me just take a look at Buzzard for a second before we jump into the game. He was actually not even like the top. He only started 7 games out of 28 games. He was 3-9 with a 3.96. So we're not even getting like their A, B, C, D, or E pitcher here. And we got Tartable, Foy, Yaz, Canigliaro, Scott, Smith, Petrocelli, Ryan, and Lomborg. And of course, Lomborg is their ace. So let's see how this plays out. There's Lomborg's 22-9 with a 3.16. And does he have any quality? He has jam and on qualities. So Williams, Walt Williams, going to lead it off here. And we got a strikeout right off the bat. Williams hit 240 in 67. And we can bring up Don Buford. Buford was hit 240 as well with 4 homers. You're not going to see big offensive numbers from these White Sox players. There's another strikeout. So Lomborg starts hot. And that'll bring up Tommy Agee. And Agee, you know, he was one of their more productive guys. 14 homers, 52 ribbies, and a 234. So give you an idea of their offense. And we're going to do an umpire result, so we'll see where this goes. And he's got a shot at a strikeout. Check swing. Did he offer? No, and he's going to walk him. So Agee is on, and Agee can run. Lomborg's a B+ and a -2. And Ryan's a -1, so those are all good numbers to try and control the game. Pete Ward hit 233. He had the 18 homers and 62 ribbies. He was their big home run guy. And he strikes out. So that's the end of this inning. And we'll have Tartable, Foy, and Yaz here in the bottom of the first. Let's take a quick look at Buzzard. There he goes, 3-10. Well, he had a 4.01 ERA. And batting averages, both sides were pretty good, 296 and 292. He has no situation qualities, so let's see what happens here. And there's a soft ground out to second, 1 out. And that will bring up Foy. And there's a strikeout. So that is out number 2 here in the first. Yeah, interesting, 67, he actually played for 3 teams, it looks like, the starter, Buzzard. Here's Yaz, Triple Crown winner, 326, 44 homers, 121 ribbies. It'll be interesting to see what kind of replay he has, and there's a base hit, so he gets it started the right way. Gets it started the right way with a base hit. Buzzard is a C, which is middle of the pack, and a 0 for steals, and a -3, though, on McNertney. He will definitely curtail some running. And here's Canigliaro. And there's another umpire called Canigliaro. Hit 20 homers with a 287 average, so that wasn't bad. Here we go, we got a 43. They're looking up a possible wild pitch or pass ball, and it is going to be a wild pitch. Wild pitch. Yaz gets to second with 2 out. Chance for Canigliaro, and there's a high fly to left. He won't do it here. And we'll go to the second, scoreless. Red Sox not a big running team. So Lomborg will face Berry here in the top of the second. Berry hit 240 with 7 homers, and he'll hit a high fly to center. And that'll be the first out. Take a quick look at the Red Sox from a running standpoint. Looks like 16 was their leader. Here's McNertney, who is at -3, so he does a good job of curtailing the running game. And I'm waiting for the pitch button, which I don't have yet. It's not highlighted, so it's... Come on. Not giving me the pitch button. There we go. Happens sometimes since this is an online game. There's an outfield range check. So let's see what this is going to be. 82. And it's a sinking liner in front of Tartable, and he's only a D, so let's see what happens here. And he still is able to make the catch. He got a little under to help him out. Nice snow cone catch for Tartable. And there's 2 out for Hansen. Hansen at 230 with 8 homers, and he's going to walk. So Lomborg's only blemishes so far have been a little wildness. Runner on first with 2 out. How was Lomborg on walks? On quality kicks in. He doesn't usually give up home runs with men on base. His walks were only 83, so normally not a big deal. But here's a Dare who had 270, one of the higher averages on the team. And here's an error chance. Here is an error chance, and it's going to be the catcher, Ryan. And remember now, the errors were all cut by 30, so he's only a 20 on the error. It's a high chopper in front of the plate. And he drops the ball in the cold. So the cold weather affecting the fielders. He couldn't feel his fingers, and his first and second 2 out. Lomborg's jam quality with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs kicks in. Does have the pitcher, who looks like he was a pretty weak hitter, only hit 190. So let's see if he can get the pitcher out here, and he does. He strikes him out. So we're going to go to the bottom of the second, scoreless here. George Scott will lead it off against Buzz Hart. And here's a fly to center. And AG puts that away for the first out. That'll bring up Reggie Smith. Switch hitter, batting left against the righty Buzz Hart. And there's a ground ball to first for the second out. That's 2 out for Petrocelli. Petrocelli hit 17 homers in 67, and there's a deep drive. There we go, deep drive, our first of the game. And remember, the wind is blowing out. He is only a C power, but a 13 is going to be left field line. Green Monsters territory. It's fair. He doesn't have to hit it far, and an 82 is going to do the job, I believe. I think Petrocelli has just hit his first home run. There it is. 1-0 Red Sox. Petrocelli clears the Green Monster left field down the line. Kept it fair and hit a home run. Images of Carlton Fisk there trying to keep a ball fair. And we're going to have Ryan now. 2 homers, 190 average, so not much of a hitter, but he does walk here. You don't want to walk him. You don't want to walk him. Batted 199 with 2 homers. That will bring up the pitcher. And he doesn't look, Lombard doesn't look like he was much of a hitter. 50 against righties, but he gets a base hit here off of Buzz Hart's card. So things going right for the Red Sox right now. Ryan will hold at second, 83%. You know, it's 83%, but there's 2 out. I'm still going to hold him. We still need to get a hit to score him. First and second, 2 out for Tartagle. And he walks, so the bases are loaded. It wouldn't have mattered. We're going to end up in the same place, whether he went to third or not. Bases loaded, 2 out for Joe Floyd. He hit 250 with 16 home runs in 67. Bases loaded, 2 out. First chance for the Red Sox to really break this game open early. And a double down the line. He's going to do it. 2 is going to score, and we're going to see about Tartagle. Ryan and Lombard are going to score easily. It's a question of Tartagle. Let's see what the percentages say. 68%. Let's try it. 2 out. Let's try and score this run with 2 out. And a 39. I think we're going to do it. And he's safe. Slides in safe. Boy, clears the bases and gets third on the throw. So, what a play right there. 4-0. Foy clears the bases with a double. Third on the throw, and here's Yaz with 2 out. And he hits a high fly to center, so that'll end the inning, but the Red Sox take a 4-0 lead. Bases clearing double by Foy. And that's going to be tough for these White Sox against Lombard. Williams leads it off. Red Sox trying to win on opening day. Here's a grounder to short. And there it is, 1 out. That will bring up Don Buford. On board right now in control. And there is a ground out to first for the second out. There are 2 out. Nobody on. White Sox looking for their first hit. And it's Tommy Agee going to try and do it, but he doesn't. It's a guard grounder to short. We're going to the bottom of the third, 4-0 Red Sox. These are not the kind of games that the White Sox want to play. They want to play low-scoring games where their pitching really shines. So Red Sox have the advantage right now. Canigliaro batting against Buzzard. And there's a triple in the gap in left center. A triple in the gap. And they're going to have a runner on third with nobody out. And here comes Scott. And he hits a soft ground at a third. Infield is back, though. This should score the run, isn't it? Or did they bring the infield in? Not the third baseman might have been in. Third baseman was in, so let's see what happens. They'll still score because it was a soft ground. So it's 5-0. Now, buzzer, when you give up 5 runs in this game, you are deemed no stuff, and that makes you a tired pitcher. Smith will bat, and there's an infield range check, so I don't think we're going to be seeing Buzzard for too much longer. They got Wilbur Wood loosening up. And there's a high chopper to short. Hansen's going to try and make the play. He's an A on range, and he's going to make the play. He gets him at first base. So there's 2 out now for Petrocelli. And there's a walk. Let's see if they go to Wood now, as Petrocelli is on with 2 out. We kidding Mike Ryan at the plate, but Wood does come into the game. So we chase Buzzard, and Wood was 4-2 with 4 saves and a 2.45 ERA. He's got long for endurance, so he can face 15 batters. And Ryan will swing with 2 out. And there's a ground to short, and that's going to end this inning. But the Red Sox have a commanding 5-0 lead here in Boston after 3. Going to make opening day a good one for the home crowd. Ward will lead it off against Lomborg. And there's a double down the line. So that's the first hit of the game for the White Sox. And there's a runner on second with nobody out. And again, Lomborg's on quality is active for Berry. Kent Berry, the batter, and he hit him. So Lomborg here with a 5-0 lead. Loses his concentration a little bit. Maybe the cold is bothering him. First and second, nobody out for McNertney as we work towards the bottom of the order. He's 0 for 1. And there's a hard ground at a short, though, and that's going to be a double play. Hard ground out. Hit the double play. Ward will go to third with 2 out. Lomborg tough in a jam with a runner in scoring position and 2 out facing Hansen. That was a big, hard double play ground ball there. And here we got a strikeout on the jam quality. So that was actually going to be an umpire result on Norman. It turned into a strikeout because of his jam. And we're going bottom 4. So Lomborg got out of that in a hurry. And he will lead off against Wood. He's actually 1 for 1, and he's now 2 for 2 in the game. How about that? And that will bring up Tartable with Lomborg on. And there's an outfield range. So we got an 11. That's a flare, foul flare. Back a third. And he makes the running catch. So that's an out, 1 out. Bring up Foy, who had the bases clearing double. And he is out on a high fly out to center, 2 out. That will bring up Yaz, who is 1 for 2. And he's hit. So it's first and second, 2 out. And that'll bring up Canigliaro, who's 1 for 2. He tripled and scored last time up. And here's a walk-in. They're going to load the bases for the second time in this game. Bases loaded. It's up to George Scott with the bases loaded. 5-0 already. They're trying to add to it here in the bottom of the 4th. And a hard ground ball to short's going to end the inning. So they don't add to their lead. And we're going to go to the 5th with that 5-0 lead. Adair will lead it off against Lomborg. And he's got a double in the gap. So the White Sox bats are coming alive a little bit here. And with a runner on second, Wood is due up. We'll see if he bats. Guess I'll bring the corners in. He could be bunting if he bats, but he strikes out here, and there's 1 out. And that will bring up Williams. The White Sox threatened last inning, but the double play killed the inning. And Adair leads off here, but now there's a hard grounder to second. So they should get the runner to third, but there'll be 2 out. And that will bring up Buford. And again, Lonborg's jam is active. He's trying to preserve the shutout right now. And he's going to do it with a high fly ball to right. Conigliaro will squeeze it, and we're going to the bottom of the 5th with the Red Sox up 5-0. Smith, Petrocelli, and Ryan. Smith leading it off. He's 0 for 2. Reggie Smith hit 15 homers, batted .246 in 67, and there's a hard grounder to third for the first out. 1 out. And that'll bring up Petrocelli, who has homered and walked. Good start to the 67 season for him, and he's got another base hit. So he's having a good day, must like the cold weather. He's on first with 1 out for Ryan. 5-0 lead. Ryan just swinging here. And he hits a soft ground ball. The play is going to be at first. Petrocelli will get to second with 2 out. That's how soft ground balls work in Dynasty League Baseball. And it'll be Lonborg, who of course is hitting, throwing a shutout. And he hits a soft ground ball. So I think that's the first time they got Lonborg out in this game. And we're going to go to the 6th. It's 5-0. It'll be Agee, Ward, and Berry. White Sox do have 2 hits now. They got a couple of doubles, but they haven't been able to score. And there's another double in the gap. So the White Sox are finding the gaps and getting some hits, but they haven't scored yet. Runner on second. Nobody out. And here's Ward. And there's a pop-up to second. And that's going to be the first out. And that's going to bring up Berry. And there's a question in the Game Pulse payoff pitch that I'm taking a look at. So here's Berry. 1 out, runner on second. And ground out to short. And that's going to be 2 out. We're going to take the out, obviously. We don't care about the runner right now. Third, there's 2 out. Lonborg's jam quality active for McNertney. And that's a base hit. And that's going to have Hansen up with 2 out. And there's a base hit. And tough in a jam is Lonborg. 2 out. Adair with a chance to make this interesting if he can get a hit. And there's a line out to third, and we're going to the bottom of the 6th. Tartable will lead it off. And there's a walk. And here's Foy. Bizarre. This is our first bizarre of the game, although it's bizarre question mark. Sometimes they're just normal routine plays, and sometimes they're different. Here's a curve, gets away from Wood, and plunks Foy. So we get another hit batter. And they're both ejected. Both Foy and McNertney are going to be ejected. Holy cow. Okay, well, he was playing, what, third, right? So who is my backup third baseman? I do not remember off the top of my head who else plays third. All right. Demeter plays third. Looks like we're going to put Dom. Well, we could also put Dalton Jones in. He played 159 at-bats. He's not about the same. He's a C15, though, and Demeter is a D60. All right, we'll put him in for now. And he's a pinch runner right now. He's going to play third. First and second, nobody out for Yaz. And there's a ground out to second. That should be a fielder's choice, and it should be first and third. And that will bring up Tony Conigliaro with one out, first and third. And a hard grounder. That should be a double play. So it'll be Wood, Williams, and Buford, but they should pinch hit for Wood. Let's see what the computer does. First, I got to set Demeter as the third baseman. And Wood will hopefully get pinch hit for by the computer. Let's see. And yes, he's going to get pinch hit for. J.C. Martin going to come up. It's 5-1 here in the 7th. Lombard can still face 14 guys, so he's fine, and he gets the high fly to center for the first out. Here's Williams. And that's a grounder to short. And that's a base hit. And that'll bring up Agee. And he strikes out. And Scott will bat. And that'll bring up Scott against Wilhelm. Wilhelm's in. There's a strikeout.
You're out.
And there's Smith. He's 0 for 3, but there's a walk. And here's Petrocelli. Round out to third. Now we're going to get, that's a fielder's choice. Smith will be out at second. Has to be a hard ground out for a double play. So 2 out runner on first for Ryan here in the bottom of the 7th. Surprised they brought Wilhelm in. There's a strikeout in a 5-1 game, but I guess he's getting some work here on opening day.
Out.
Ward will lead it off. Lombard still can face 10 guys, and there's another double in there. They've had like 3 leadoff doubles in this game. But they only have 1 run on the board. So runner on second, nobody out here though for Berry. Still no reason to panic on Lombard. And there's an umpire call. Runner on third. How did that happen? Ward takes third. This is a wild pitch charged to Lombard. Holy cow. So runner on third, nobody out. We still don't care about that run, so we're staying back, and there's a strikeout, 1 out. And that'll bring up Josephson. Take the out for the run here in the 8th inning. And there's a base hit, so they get it to 5-2. Now I'm going to have to start thinking bullpen here. So I'm going to have to start at least thinking bullpen. We'll see if he can get Hansen. 1 out, runner on first. If he doesn't get Hansen, we will get someone up. And there's a high fly to center, 2 out. They're working towards the bottom of the order. There's 1 for 3. And there's an infield range check, so that can be anything. And on an 88, that's going to be a deep ground ball into the hole at third to the new player on the field, Demeter. He's only a D range, but he makes the diving stop. I don't know how he stayed warm in the cold weather, but he makes that play. And Lombard does get through the 8th. They're bottom 8. 5-2 Red Sox. Lombard's going to hit. I'm going to let him hit. I'm going to let him at least go out for the 9th. Gotta like those complete game chances. There's a strikeout.
You're out.
I'm going to give him a chance. I'll probably only give him 1 batter. Here's Tartable. 1 out, nobody on. And that's a strikeout, so 2 strikeouts. And now hold up a second here before Demeter bats and go into the bullpen. It's 5-2. Who are we gonna get up? I don't really want to get our save guy up. Let's get up. We could get up Sparky Lefty. Let's get up Sparky Lefty, and we'll get up Santiago. No need to panic just yet. Demeter will bat, 2 out, nobody on, and there's an umpire call. See what this is going to be. 63. And it's line to center for a base hit by Demeter. So 2 out runner on first for Yaz. Yaz gets another AB. He's 1 for 3. And he's got himself a base hit. So he's 2 for 4 now. We'll probably stop at second, but we'll see. 60, stopped at second, 68%. No reason to make the last out at third. We'll give Canigliaro a shot. He tripled in 3 trips, and he also walked. And he's got a hard ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. So we're going to go to the 9th. We're going to go to the 9th, 5-2 Red Sox. I'm going to let Lomborg start the inning. Going to obviously pinch hit for Wilhelm, so let's see who comes up. It's going to be Tom McCraw coming up against Lomborg here in the 9th. And he's got himself a base hit, so now I'm probably going to just go ahead and take Lomborg out. I gave him a shot. I wanted to see if he can complete it, but let's see. They got switch righty, righty, righty. So I think I'm going to go to Santiago. Actually, hold on one second. Scott, what am I talking about? They got Williams, Buford, and Agee, righty switch righty. And he actually is worse against righties. Let's see, Buford. Buford is also worse against righties. So yeah, I'm going to go to Santiago. So let's bring in Santiago, but before I let him face Williams, we are going to get Wyatt up, just in case. So we got a runner on first, nobody out for Williams. Top of the order for the White Sox. And now they're going to go to Stroud. Let's see what he did. He was only 220 against righties, but he was 071 against lefties. So not exactly a guy you're going to fear facing. And he hits a deep drive, but he's probably a weak power guy. Let's see. He's an F. He's a weak power guy. Like I said, he's not a guy you fear. He does get it down the line, and the wind is blowing out, though. So he gets a really high number, but he doesn't. 24 should not be a problem. And that should be an easy play for Canigliaro. It is. First out. Like I said, this White Sox team is not going to scare you offensively. And that brings up Buford. And there's a high fly to right. So Fiji. Santiago with a chance here to close this out for them. Oh, they're going to go to Causey. Wayne Causey, and he was not much against righties, 219 with F power. So again, they don't have much offense to scare you with that. Another deep drive. So they're trying. I think he was F power, right? Yeah, he's F power as well, so he's going to have to maybe hit it twice to get it out, especially to center field. He's hit it to straightaway center. And I don't even think 74 is going to be a dent. 303, even with the wind. He hits at 308, and it should be quite retardable. And the Red Sox win on opening day here, so we get the 67 season going. Wasn't the most exciting game in the world. I was a little distracted by Discord and payoff pitch. But the Red Sox win it, 5-2. And come back with game 2 a little bit later. And thanks for watching.